Part 1. 25 bizarre phobias you might have, and not even know. We all have fears. Some of us are afraid of the dark, of lightning and thunder, or even dogs. If you're terrified of something, let us know by liking this video. We're here to let you know that you're not alone. While most people's fears are quite understandable, and can easily be avoided just by keeping the night light on, or avoiding dogs running loose, certain phobias are more complicated. When you're frightened of buttons or falling in love, life becomes considerably more difficult. Here's a list of 25 rare and bizarre phobias you probably didn't know existed. And who knows? You might even have one of them. Watch until the end in order to find out. Number 25. Acribophobia. This is the fear of not being able to comprehend what you're reading. This phobia originally comes from two Greek words, akribo, which means know for sure, and phobos, which means fear. When patients report that the sentence they're reading breaks apart into words and individual syllables, it can also be a sign of schizophrenia. This phobia, like many of the others we'll discuss in this video, is entrenched in childhood memories. Perhaps a person was mocked for being a slow learner. We can all agree that math textbooks are hard to understand though. Number 24. Hexakosioihexekontahexaphobia. This is the fear of the number 666, the beast's number. What is the origin of this name? To construct it, the ancient Greek words hexakosioi, 600, hexakonta, 60, and hex, 6, were combined with phobia. You can imagine what it's like if you've seen the honking episode of Futurama. Bender was terrified of the symbols 01011, 00101 in the mirror, which stood for 666 in the binary system. Most folks do not like having 666 in their address. When Ronald Reagan and his wife Nancy relocated to Bel Air, Los Angeles, they changed their house number from 666 to 668. Some cable TV subscribers have blocked channel 666 from their viewing options. Others will also drive around the neighborhood simply to change the 666 to 667 in the odometer number. What is the source of this phobia? Many individuals believe that everything occurs for a reason. They make connections between seemingly unrelated occurrences. Perhaps they dialed a number that ended in 666 and injured their leg the same day. This phobia could also be inherited. Number 23. Hippopotomonstrosesquipedaliophobia. Can you try pronouncing it yourself? It is so difficult to do so that it speaks for itself. This is the fear of long words. People who have it almost certainly lost a spelling bee as children, or perhaps something less awful than that. Let's break this word down into sections to make it less frightening. In Greek, hippo means horse and potamos means river. As a result, the first portion of the phrase translates to water horse, also known as hippopotamus. A related word, hippopotami, is used in the Oxford Dictionary to describe anything extraordinarily huge. The term monster comes from Latin and means colossal or terrifying. Sesquipedalio is a Latin term that refers to a foot and a half in length. The phobia is the simple part. We all know what it means. Fear. If you have seen Mary Poppins, you probably enjoyed trying to pronounce supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, a 34-letter word. For those who are afraid of any word longer than beautiful, it must have been a terrifying experience. How about this place in Thailand made up of 163 letters? You can try to pronounce it yourself. We couldn't. Number 22. Gnosophobia. This is the fear of knowledge and is also known as epistemophobia. It came from the Greek word gnosis, which means knowledge. They will most likely avoid going to the library, reading books, watching TV, or using the internet to learn new things. What is the cause of all this? In many circumstances, they are scared of learning about an illness they may have from a medical book. They're also concerned that if they learn something harmful, they won't be able to spread the message and warn everyone. 70% of Gnosophobes reside in urban cities. This fear is also common among feral or wild children who have grown up outside of human civilization. Number 21. Hydrosophobia. This is the fear of sweating and getting a cold, as well as the phobia of being a source of foul odor. The name is made up of two Greek words, hydroso, which means I sweat, and phobia, which means fear. Hydrophobes might also be afraid of other people's sweat in extreme circumstances. Those who suffer from this fear are likely envious of birds, rabbits, and pigs, who don't sweat at all. Number 20. Dextrophobia. This is the fear of objects being on the right side of the body. Its name comes from the Latin word dextro, which means to the right. Obsessive-compulsive personality is the cause of this phobia. Have you ever encountered someone who is obsessive with maintaining order at their office desk and keeps everything to their left? That person is probably a dextrophobe. When driving, people with dextrophobia find it difficult to change into the left lane if they notice a car on the right side. They are sometimes mocked for their peculiar behaviors, which gives them social anxiety. Number 19. Doronophobia. For those who suffer with Doronophobia, the holiday season must be a nightmare. This is the fear of receiving or giving gifts. Doro is the Greek word meaning gift, and this is where the phobia got its name. The origins of this phobia can be found in childhood experiences once again. Some families are able to afford extravagant gifts, while others are unable to do so. Some Doronophobes can't get over their childhood experiences of being teased and prefer to refuse gifts as adults. Number 18. Koumpounophobia. This is the fear of buttons. People with this fear will try their best to avoid wearing clothes with buttons. Even the mention of buttons or the sight of buttons can trigger an anxiety attack in them. The word Koumpounophobia comes from the Greek word koupouno, which means beans. The ancient Greeks used beans instead of buttons. This phobia was vividly demonstrated in Neil Gaiman's horror novel Coraline, which was made into a film. In a parallel world where wicked characters that looked like her parents had black buttons for eyes, the main character suffered Koumpounophobia. In the real world, some children have choked on buttons, or have been harmed by someone wearing clothing with buttons, which caused this fear. They grow up to be adults who have to skip weddings and proms, just to avoid seeing all those folks dressed up in tuxedos and buttoned-up coats. In the most extreme circumstances, Koumpounophobes are also terrified to write the word buttons. Number 17. Lachanophobia. This is the fear of vegetables. The name derives from the Greek word lachaniko, which means vegetable. It affects people who can't stomach the sight or smell of veggies. Remember that, the next time you force your kids to eat broccoli, you could be the one who causes them to acquire a phobia. It may also occur if they come across caterpillars or worms on plants. Children have a vivid imagination, and some believe that if they consumed the affected veggie, they would transform into caterpillars. Number 16. Nephophobia. People who suffer from this phobia must find Instagram, with its hashtag #NoFilterSky photos, a horrifying place. This is the fear of clouds in real life and in photographs. It originally came from the word nephos, which means clouds, in Greek. This phobia can take on various forms over time, such as a fear of fog or even air. Think about how difficult it is for these people to fly or even simply leave the house. This phobia is frequently the result of past painful events or genetics. Number 15. Omphalophobia. This is the fear of belly buttons. The name is derived from the Greek words omphalo, which means navel, and phobia, which means fear. You're probably wondering what's the deal with belly buttons. Although it resembles a knot in a balloon, why would you be afraid of them? Since the navel string and the mother's womb are typically associated with the belly button, some people have the misconception that accidentally touching their belly button will kill them. When taking a bath, those who have this phobia tend not to touch their belly button. Some even cover it or put a plaster to protect it. They also do not like going to the beach. Imagine seeing all of those belly buttons in one location. Number 14. Ombrophobia. Rain can be relaxing for most people, but certainly not for people with this phobia. This is the fear of rain, or ombros in Greek. It affects people in such a way that they never miss a weather report. Even the possibility of rain, or even a mention of it in the forecast, causes them to get worried. They have a panic attack and seek shelter when the first raindrops fall. You'd probably think that it is a natural human reaction, but not everyone is frightened by the sight and sound of rain. It most likely does not cause your heart to race and your entire body to shake. Ombrophobia can be traced back to childhood, painful occurrences from that time, or being taught by your parents that rain will make you sick. Are you intrigued by these uncommon phobias? Then watch out for part 2. We have the other half of this list in store for you. We'll see you there.